Hi, and welcome to this third part of the Memex video tutorial series where I'm going to show you how to go to Shadertoy and how to find a shader that is ready to be ported to Memex, and then how to take the code, bring it into Memex, save it as a custom shader, and then be able to now jump on a Zoom call where you have this like cool filter that you can surprise people with, and that you can be a little funky and honestly uh, and honestly be a little more fun than all these like crazy boring Zoom life that we're all going through these kind of days. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Anyway, yeah, shader toys to Memex. Let's take a look at how to do that. Obviously, the first thing that you want to do is you want to come to the website Shadertoy. You probably want to sign up for an account. I'm already logged in here. And then we're going to browse. We're going to look for shaders that are cool and that we want to bring in as backgrounds or as the image that we're projecting in our video meeting calls. And because there's like a lot of really cool stuff on Shadertoy. Like for example, I really like this one. I was explaining in the previous video how that we're seeing here is entirely generated procedurally with mathematical formulas and equations. There's no geometry, no meshes, no lighting, no nothing. Everything is just computed numerically, which is amazing. It's one of the powers of Shadertoy. And you can see how fluid and how fast it is, right? So, but since what we're looking for here is shaders that are specifically designed to be maybe more like backgrounds to our image, or that play with the texture of the image, of the video, of the webcam that we're fitting in, we need to find like some that are a bit more specific to that end. Okay, so for example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to browse, and you can see that I get a lot of really cool things that are really cool shader toys that are trending and that are hot right now. It takes some time because it's now rendering a lot of really heavy a lot of really heavy shaders. So you can see that my computer is a little laggy right now, but I'm going to click here on webcam. And I'm going to click on webcam because this is a filter that is giving me the shaders that are specifically designed to take an image and to process that image and turn it into like a filter version of itself, right? So I'm actually going to show this one. I'm going to show this one too, but I think I want to go to where was the one that I saw before. There is one that is called edge detection that I really liked a lot. I think it might be here. Well, if anything, I have a link here. So I'm going this one here, edge detection. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and my computer is running 17 different things at the same time. So, but you can see, right now, what you're seeing is that Chrome is taking the webcam feed of a webcam that I have here sitting in front of on my desk, and you can see that what it's doing is running an algorithm that is doing edge detection. So you can see on my image how there's like is this ghost version of myself. Ooh, ooh. Oh, and the teeth look really scary, huh? But this is done. Actually, this is not very complicated technique. This uses a 3x3 matrix called like an image kernel to do edge detection. That's probably something I want to talk about at some point in another tutorial. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this code and we're going to try to port it to Shadertoy. Okay, so that we Memex, so that we can use this filter in our video conference calls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to copy paste it into a new file here. Okay, and I'm going to give this a ShaderLab type so that I can get a bit more of better syntax highlighting. What's good about this and why I chose this filter is because, as you can see here, it has an I channel 0 that is taking the webcam feed, which is exactly how the shaders in Memex work. So this is going to be a really good fit for porting to Memex. It also doesn't have any buffers, which is probably something you want to take a look at, because that makes things much easier. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open a new Zoom meeting, and I'm going to set things up so that we can try things out. Okay? Great. You can see I did a little bit of setup. So now what I have here, all the way up here, is I have a Zoom meeting running right now that is taking my Memix camera as an input. And I have the Memix UI here running a custom shader. And here I have the file with the custom shader that I did in the previous video, where we took the chroma, we cropped the chroma out, and then on the background of the chroma, we just created this black to white gradient. Okay, if you want to learn how I did this, you should definitely check my previous video on how to do custom shaders. Okay, but this is the main file that has this. Here is the main file that has the shader that I programmed in the previous video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete everything. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and then here I'm just going to right away I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste everything. Okay, and if I hit save, you can see that it's working already, and that now my custom filter is just doing edge detection. Okay, this worked, copy pasting it right away again, because Memex uses Shadertoy flavored shader language, which means that all the conventions and all the names and all the uniforms have the same names. So in this case, copy pasting just worked right away. Okay. The only thing is that I'm having particular problems because I think my webcam, for some reason, is giving me a feed when it comes to Zoom that is flipped for some reason. So what I would like to do here is I would like to just try to flip the Y direction, and I can very simply do that, I think, by taking the Y coordinate of the fragment coordinates, so taking the Y coordinate and then flipping it. So say this is going to be to the height of this image minus the value of the Y coordinate itself. And if I do this, yes, so it's flipped. So here you have, for example, here you have now an example of an edge detection shader that you can use in Memex. Okay. Yes, I'm going to copy paste the link here, and then I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how to do this with a different shader. All right, the next one we're going to try is this really cool Raymarch CRT. I don't even know where to look anymore. I'm looking there, I'm looking there, I'm looking there. TV, old TV, I'm talking from the past. Ooh. I think CRT stands for cathode ray something. I don't know, but this is a really cool shader done by Dean Decoder. So very easy. What we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna and also again, rule of thumb: if the shader has one channel, the I channel 0, and it doesn't have any buffers or anything, it is just one page, this is probably like a really good candidate for bringing it to Memex. Okay, so what I did was I've copy pasted the code here, and I'm going to start a new Zoom call, and then this Zoom call is going to use my Memex, and it's using my other camera here. And where is my Memex? Okay, this is the UI here, and it still has the shader that we used before. Okay, so again, for this one, it's literally going to be as easy as copying the code, and then in our main shader.txt file, just deleting everything and pasting this. And as I hit save, you can see that now I have my CRTV filter on Zoom. This is very zoomable, right? This is quite zoomable here. And I think I also want to flip the my y coordinates. So at the very beginning of main image, I'm going to say this is equal to I resolution x divided by frag coordinate dot y, and this should work. Oh, minus, yes, minus, and I flip it again. Okay, so okay. All right, and let's try another one, right? And last but not least, we're gonna try this one here. It has a very strange name that I can't read in Chinese, but it's created by FMS Cat. It's quite simple. It's just this like bang effect of like like rays coming in. But I like this one because what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy paste it, but then we're not gonna leave it there. We're gonna take the advantage. We're gonna mix it with the shader that I did in the previous video where we cut out the chroma. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the chroma to cut myself out and then have this thing bang in the back of my body, so that you see these rays here that are in front of my chest and the ones on my head, in the back of my head, so that everything is on the back. Okay, so let me copy this and bring it to Visual Studio. I'll see you in a second. And here we are. We are back on the main shader file that has the CRT one that we just copy pasted. I'm going to delete everything and I'm going to paste. Remember the example that I did where I had the chroma and I had a gradient in the back? So I'm going to copy paste all of that here, and you see we're back where we started. Okay, and I'm going to also at the same time I'm going to take all of this. This is the code for the bangy bangy shader, and I'm gonna paste it all the way at the end. Okay, as I do that, this is not going to work because I do have two functions on the same shader that are called main image, and only one can exist because this is the one that the shader will call, and then that will execute the main shader process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything that is not main image. I'm going to take everything from the second shader, the one that I just brought in. I'm going to take everything that is not main image, that is just helper functions, and I'm going to copy it at the beginning. And especially the defines, I'm also going to put in all the way at the very beginning so that they're available everywhere on the shader. But I'm going to keep the chroma key function that I had from my original shader, from this one that you are seeing right now. And if I comment out the main image function that was doing the chroma effect, then if I save this, I probably already have this bangy bangy shader. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to find a way to combine them both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to turn on the main function, the one that did the chroma effect, and I'm going to turn this one off. Okay, so this is going to be here. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the code. So because I want to keep my cutout, I want to keep it in the front, but then in the back where the gradient is drawing right now, what I want is, instead of that gradient, I want to have the bangy bangy effect here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to where in my main image where the code that is deciding whether if I draw the gradient or not. This is that code. I'm going to remove this. But if you see here, remember that when we did the chroma, we received a value k that was telling us how, between 0 and 1, how much chroma, how much correction had to be done on this pixel. So if this was 0, it meant that it was not a green pixel. If it was 1, it meant that it was a fully green pixel. And anywhere in between, it was like a blending transition. So here, what I specified was if the value of k was greater than this slider here, then instead of using the pixel color of the texture, so instead of using the webcam, just use this v value that is 0 at the top of the image and 1 all the way at the bottom, and it gradients. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, instead of this, here is what I want to replace with the explosion effect. So only the pixels that are to be substituted with chroma should get this explosion effect. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the main code, I'm going to copy paste it here, and I'm going to give it some form. Okay, and then I'm going to save this, and it's not working exactly well. Let's see what is going on. So if k is greater than parameter, then fragment color this one. Otherwise, if that's not the case, then use the fragment color here. Okay, exactly. So what I was doing was, because I had this all the way here, it didn't matter what I was doing, because any changes that I was doing here and the assignment to the fragment color was anyway being overwritten by this at the very end. So what I want is, if the value of the chroma is higher than the slider, then fragment color should be all this computation. Otherwise, if it's not, then just keep fragment color like it was, which is with the pixel color. Okay, so this is what I want here. All right, that's great, except for the fact that I'm still seeing the green screen in my back, which is not nice. I probably want to remove that, but at least the explosion effect, now it's behind me. It's not anymore in front of me, which I like. So something that I'm going to do is, I'm going to say, well, I think somewhere here, you see here, I am still taking the texture of the back. So I don't think I want to take the texture of the back. I don't want to take the chroma again. What I want to do is, I want to mix this color, and I want to say, instead of mixing the final color that is going to come out for the pixels that are with the chroma, instead of mixing it with the texture, why don't you mix it with a black color? So vector 3 that only has the value 0. And as I do that, then all the other pixels get corrected. I can also change that here for the white value. This is the color of the spikes that are being exploded. So probably I want to do, let's say I'm going to do full red. Okay, so now it's like red. And or I don't know, or purple, why not, or magenta. This is magenta. Okay, and I'm probably doing some redundant calculations here, but it doesn't matter. This was just more for the sake of illustration. Okay, so with this, I'm going to stop here. Nevertheless, I want to remind everybody who's watching, everybody who might be watching this video, that that the terms of use of Shadertoy mean that all the shaders that are available on Shadertoy have the Creative Commons attribution, share alike, and non-commercial. Okay, which means that I believe this means that you're welcome to take this code and use it for personal purposes, not for commercial ones, so long as you attribute who the author of the code of the shader is, and that if you share it with the same license. Okay, so be mindful about the creators who put their work out there in the platform, and then just not take it and use it in any terms. Okay, remember that you have to. It's only fair to abide by the terms of the environment that you're borrowing all this knowledge from. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope you have a lot of fun and you create really cool shaders for your video conference, and that you have a lot of fun. Thank you.